I guess that brings it on to the other subject of that being in the non-monogamous relationship. Another positive is that you do have to face those insecurities and jealousies. I know we've kind of briefly already spoken about it, but you do have to face those a lot of the time, and I think that is so good for me anyway. It's hard not to act out of it, but for me, being in this, it brings up things that I've never even felt before or thought about, a lot of them being irrational. I think you were saying as well how you explained it really well.
How your trauma is people not coming back and leaving you is Chloe's childhood trauma, her wounding, which is when I go and see someone else, it's really, really heightened because it's, oh no, I'm giving Trish the freedom, which is a great thing for me to go and see someone else, but will he come back? Will he come back?
Oh, will he leave me for her?
Yeah. And then when I do come back, it's like your insecurity is straight away being invalidated because it's, oh, I'm not being abandoned and I'm not being left and Trish is still here and he does still love me and he does still care for me and he's not being dishonest saying that, you know, he cares for me or whatever, or that he loves me.
Yeah, you, me thinking you're going to abandon me, which is my irrational wounding, and then you don't, like you said, just completely makes it invalid. And
so therefore it becomes less strong, it has less of a hold over you. And so the open relationship is causing you to reduce your amount of insecurities in the world. And
the more incidents where you have gone and done things that I felt insecure about, and it's not always sleeping with, it can be other things that I felt, that makes me feel insecure that Tris is doing that. And every time when you have come back, it's like that 1, 2, 3, 4, every time it like compounds and compounds. I'm like, oh, he has come back every time I've been vulnerable with those things, you have come back, or it's basically been invalidated. And a lot of the time, as my therapist taught me, is and I know a lot of people have this, is a story that you make up in your head. And it will be, I'll just make one up, but just to say, like, tonight you were going to a girl friend, she's a friend of yours, house, and I made this, I think that you fancy her, even though you've not said that, or like not, you've told me as a friend, but I can make up this whole story in my head. Oh, Tristan's going to go in there, this is going to happen, and then she's better than this to me, then this is going to happen, and then what if this happens, and then we're able to do this, and then this will happen, and this whole thing, which I know you've experienced with me doing, like all these stories that come up, and they're just born out of anxiety, and they're not valid at all. And most of the time they don't happen. I remember there was some things that happened before when you were seeing that girl, and the stories that or the things that I thought were going to happen, and you were like, this isn't going to happen, Chloe. Why are you talking about this? And then it didn't. And then a few months later, I look back, I was like, I can't believe I even worried about that. Like, why was I wasted a whole night worrying about something that was just so irrational. But that's good, because it's made me address it and realise that they are irrational and they don't come true a lot of the time. Well, none of the times. And I think even for you, you've had a couple of experiences where you felt insecure and jealous and worried about things. But then when you realise they don't come true, well, they're not valid, it just makes it stronger. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I think that's really good. It's really good for you to face those things. I think that's a lot of reasons why people can't do it, though, because it is too hard for them to face those.
Well, it's a funny one, isn't it? Because setting up these freedoms to allow people, not tying them down via marriage or sexual exclusivity, or even by letting them go for a dinner with their friend, you are giving people this freedom. Oh, there's a lovely squirrel out there on that post.
Oh yeah,
so cute. Sorry, I just got distracted by that squirrel. Sorry, what was it again? And you are giving that person the opportunity to meet someone that is a better fit for them and another person. So you're really putting your bollocks on the line, because you're saying Chloe might meet another person that's better suited to another person, and she may leave me for them. And in our egotistical world, we want to put all the controls in place to not allow that to happen. But is it really beneficial for me to be with Chloe when she'd be better suited to someone else? If I really care about Chloe, I'd want her happiness to be the most important thing. So therefore, I should accept and allow her to relate with someone else. Maybe not be relating with me anymore.
Yeah.
And I'd have to go on my own. And if I had strong enough character to allow that to happen, I'd understand that I'm a decent bloke as well. I'll find a person that's better suited to me as well. So that whole situation would be incredible and it would be worth doing. But we're all too fearful to allow that sort of thing to happen, which is what non-monogamy is doing. I am allowing that situation to happen.
Yeah.
And Chloe especially allowing me to act how I want to act and being one of the very few people that is not imposing these controls on me and forcing me to act a certain way. She's one of the few birds that is able to give a condition that is very, very important for me. So, I mean, you're winning by a long shot on that one, Chloe.
Yeah, I think that's so true, that if Tris met a girl who was better suited for him than me, if I really did love him as much as, you know, or as much as people say they love their partner, you would want them to be someone who was...
You'd be kind rather than selfish.
But because of our egos, it really is like all about ego and fear, like you said, that it's like, no, I want to be the girl that he's with. I don't want him to be with someone else. It's all about me, basically, which is what most...
And you'd rather your happiness than the other person's happiness.
Yeah.
And how happy is it going to be as well if someone wants to be somewhere else and then they're stuck with you? It's not going to be that happy. So you'd rather have a miserable relationship with that person that's not well suited to you, rather than find someone that's better suited to you and then find someone else, be with the other person that's better suited to them. Seems a little bit crazy.
I think this was the exact feeling that went through my head when you told me about the that you wanted to sleep with someone else. You didn't know what to do. I remember obviously I was really heartbroken to start with. I remember lying on the bed thinking, I even said to you, I was like, because you were really upset, I was like, it's okay, like, I love you and I want this to, because I could see you were so upset and I knew that for you to be happy, I had to allow you to do what you want to do, which is the same thing as like if you found someone who was better. I was like, I need to, like, this is important because I cared for you. I wanted you to be happy. Whereas I think a lot of girls would have just gone, well, fuck you then, get out of my house. I don't care. If you don't want to be with me and you want to be with that girl, then fuck off. But I was like, no, like, I care for you. I want you to be happy. I want you to be able to be with her and me, like, if you want to be with both.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, yeah, I think most people would be too selfish and just be like, well, fine, if you don't want me, then you don't get me.
And yeah, too scared, really.
Yeah.
Very brave thing to do. But there's so much bliss, I think.
But it does take a dropping of the ego, and it did obviously for me that night to be like, okay, like, we'll make this work, like, you can see her and or whoever you want to see, like, we'll eventually, like, we'll make it work. That's a dropping of the ego rather than being, no, you must stay with me or leave. That's it. There's two options.